10, 9, 8, 7.
This is Romo Dunze, and you're listening to the Ballsville podcast.
4, 3, 2, 1.
This is a quick look at the biggest earners of our game. We see Joey up top during the gauntlet game with 1,203. DJ and Ethan right below him with 896. That's after losing 100 to wagers. Todd Barber banked $801. Now, that's remarkable for Todd because this isn't a big ticket win. This is a guy who just happened to win a lot of the leagues that he was in. So 801 there. Grizz Tony won 80 from that game. Chris, sorry for cussing, 496. Going over to redraft, we had Todd Barber again, who was not the winner, who still won $900. Grizz Tony, our record-breaking 3350. Sorry for cussing, 150 there. JoJo, 350 from there. Todd Barber took 150 through Dynasty. The mini leagues, Mean Machine, it's supposed to be 760. It says 730. Myself, sorry for cussing. I lead the big game with 960. That's total. Sorry for cussing. 470 from that. JoJo 170. Todd Barber 150. Grizz Tony another 100. Overall, we had Grizz Tony with the most payouts this year with a total of 3,530. Todd Barber with a payout of $2,001. JoJo with 1,725. And then we had, sorry for cussing here, and his number is 1,141. But Chris, you also won the DFS game that we had this year with JoJo. That's JoJo's gig. And that was what, $1,160, I think?
Yep.
And then another 350 from our manager's ball, which we call the brass balls. I won like $50. You won like 300 plus a $50 entry and stuff. That's pretty sick. So overall, Chris's total would bump him up to second place at $2,751. So it's good to see our friends win big. We had a lot of other winners, and that is going to wrap up our Ballsville game talk. Now we get into a very special moment here, guys. This is that is also in a reroll, but that is not because of the orphan situation. That is because of an Empire win by our own Steb. Steb 20, who won here, won silver on the right side of the podium for the Dragons. He was on the podium last year as a bronze. You make the podium 2 years in a row. That's an Empire win. Your league resets. Everybody buys in again. I told you guys this information is going to come in hot. So because he had an Empire win, everybody has to buy in. Now, in that circumstance, we had 3 people who took over Orphans last year. Their dues are protected because they were not part of the original year when he made the podium the first time. That's $60 that comes out of the Ballsville budget. So in one league, we have an instance where Ballsville's collecting $50 due to the massive amount of surplus. But on the other hand, we're also paying $60 to protect your dues if you take over an orphan, because it's not your fault somebody made the podium last year. So if you take over an orphan in one of these leagues, and the sheets are in the league, we'll pin out, this person won gold is in the podium. It's not on this image per se. But these are your podiums, and if these people make it next year, that league resets. Same practice. We protect those dues. You can exit if you want, or you can pay the $50 to get back in for the reroll. So heroes on the left, dragons on the right. These images, if you want to go and check them out in depth, you can do so on the website. It covers your champions, your runner-up, your third place, and then you see a little money bag like over Freeman C right here. That money bag represents the wager winner. So we had 2 people who scored higher than him and won championship and runner-up, but they did not wager. So because they didn't wager, Freeman C here in third place took the wager pot, which I think was $750 here, plus his league winnings and the third place prize for a total of $925 this year. Guys, this is a $25 annual commitment. Everybody in the league gets paid out something. If you make the finals, you get a little coin, $50 to play with, to wager, or to keep. That would be your second place prize if you decide to keep it. So same thing with the Dragons on the right. Zach Wilson fan, the bronze place was the only one that wagered. So his point total of 190.12 won him $1,125. So big money to be had. Here's some more trophies. We have the champion. We have the wager winner, represented by the little thief, and the same on the right side. The money bag is the wager winner. The cup is the champion. You can also see player quotes. Bagney says, "Run it back." C. Sims over here says, "Winning isn't everything; it's the only thing." So Nick, I'm going to ask you, because you're now in Blue Eyes and you've taken over a couple of orphans during the season, but this is your first real dynasty startup, and it's kind of a process that we do in Ballsville with the reverse order. 28 picks, hold your rookie picks, so you can trade with them during the draft. A lot of flexibility for team building. You want to give us a little insight on how you like these leagues so far?
Yeah, I like these leagues so far. I mean, like I said earlier, there's pros and cons of an early draft. It fosters league activity. Con could be, you could draft somebody and they get hurt. But I think it's pretty nice. I mean, it's nice having separate drafts for rookies. If it's a reverse order, so if you get the 1.1 in the startup, you get the 1.12 in the rookie draft. And you could always trade those if your league allows it. They'll be 2028 picks, and then once the draft order is actually set for rookies, once the vet draft's done, then you'll just have to go in and manually trade that. But I think it's pretty cool. I mean, you could invest hard in vets. You could also invest hard in rookies.
Yeah, well said. Well said. So we have a couple of comments that are real factual. Rebuilding is life. That's how I feel. So one of the things I look forward to every year is I have a number of dynasty leagues, and I can't wait for somebody to underperform and have some bad luck so I can start selling off pieces, because it's one less league that I have to manage. And when you're doing a rebuild and you get to sell off these pieces, you get to shop them out individually. That's when I'm at my most active, is when I have a crappy team, ironically. So I agree with that. And Zach McClintock here says everybody loves a good orphan, which I agree with as well. Mm-hmm. And more facts. You got to risk it for the biscuit. It's called Ballsville for a reason, right?
Yep.
So to wrap up the dynasty talk, we ended up with 14 mini games. So that's at least 25. In some cases, that's 50 for a mini game. That's going to be a side game of best ball. For the 25 ones, we play a game of best ball, and if you win, you don't have to pay your dues next year. Or, if you're working out an exit, you can take your 25 in bulk. We try to facilitate that. We're not trying to hold your money hostage. If you have some extenuating circumstance, we'll help you compromise. And if we get removed from the game, you don't forfeit dues. If we want to kick you out, we refund you. That has happened. That's what the budget's for. So stepping out of game one, going into game two, the mini leagues that you see here on the screen, Chris, we'll turn it over to you, because I know you're like drooling, waiting for these mini leagues to start up, man. Tell us what you like about them, and maybe mention your free entries here.
Okay, so the entries these are cheap, $4. Like, who doesn't have $4? And you get that basically the research you get from finding out where these players are going is valuable. It's $4 valuable to me to see how everybody's thinking early on. We get a bunch of these, right? 40 leagues in the mini leagues. They start drafting right away the weekend of the Super Bowl. I was entered into one. That's how I got into Ballsville this year, was one mini league game, and it just happened to be right at the end of the 40 that they were putting out there. I ended up winning that one league, and I'm like, hey, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. If I can, 8x my money, just in one league, just imagine what I could do in 40 of them. So that's my plan for this one. You get deep rosters. I think you said, Alex, 26 rounds. So
I believe it's 26 rounds, and these are 12-team leagues. The big game is 10 teams. This is 12-team league, so we get deep.
Yeah. So draft. Do your research. Get in there. Try to take advantage of the timing, and hope that things pan out for you, because you never know what's going to happen between now and the beginning of the season, anyways. So you got $4 to spend. I mean, geez. That's entertainment enough for me. So
the $4, the $4 is a great topic, because Zach in the chat says like a Wendy's 4 for $4, and I think to myself, well, hold on now, because don't compare us to a 4 for $4. That's a legit meal right there.
And not only that, but you can only imagine what that $4 can get you, because the mini league winner this year brought home what was it, $760
right there.
Off of $4. I mean, come on.
That's 190x.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
I think.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest multiplier. Is the 190. Ethan, did you catch any of these last year?
No, I came right when the Gauntlet game was kicking off, but plan to get into almost all of them this year, if possible. If everybody doesn't beat me too, I plan on getting into all of them.
Well, you'll be surprised, guys, because the best ball So the reason why I love best ball is because I'm a big dynasty nerd. That's my number one is dynasty. I love dynasty. I love all the strategies, all the routes you can take in team building. If you're patient, like I tend to be, it works out great. Now, sometimes you have rebuild years and there's not a lot of action there. And you can't just start up a dynasty league every year. You're going to drown. That's where best ball comes in because we have 40 of these. We have 96 of the big game drafts. That's a lot of best ball. You can draft these as much as you want. If you're somebody like Todd Barber or like Cheeky, they like to buy for a whole division. They'll buy all 8 of the big game and they take a spot in each of them, which we welcome, and then we fill it in with new players on the backside if we can. But as soon as these open, our players are going to be soaking up these spots. So make sure you're there when they drop. Yeah, like Chris said, $4 entry, $760 payout. His quote, Mr. Mini Machine 922, thanks for running this league and all other leagues. So that is our champion for the mini leagues. You see the divisions, Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Told you we were nerds. The Gauntlet game. Chris, I'm going to let you talk about the Gauntlet game and what you thought about this year because it was quite an event.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm excited for the next year because it'll be a little different, but this year was definitely fun. I was in all 12 of the leagues that I could get into. I know Ethan was too. It was real fun. I think I paid more attention to the Gauntlet game than any other leagues that I was in all year, just because I didn't want to fall behind because at the first start when the season was going on, you get into the mode where you fall behind and you're gonna end up missing out on bonuses that happen during the year. You just got to stay engaged, and you can come out on top because Ethan came out on top, I came out on top, JoJo came out on top, TB76 came out on top. So yeah, it was quite the interesting year, and I cannot wait for the next version of this game.
You touched on a lot of cool topics there. I like that you mentioned the winners. We do have a list of winners, and those names are going to be popping off a little later. You can see here our Gauntlet champion for 2025 was JoJo. He took home a total prize of $1,203.
Week 15 to accommodate that we don't run into week 18 with a final championship of each champion in each league against each other. So that's the only week with the double elimination. Roster sizes will increase after week, I believe it's week 3, week 6, week 9, and week 12. It's going to be amazing. It's best ball, so you don't have to check it throughout the week other than your waivers. You will be using the waivers. Your fab will not reset at any point during the year, so be careful and intricate with how you use your fab. It's going to be amazing.
So, Chief, I know you're in the chat because I gave you a heads up and you're waiting for this to release. Chris is going to be in each of these. Ethan's going to be in each of these. There's going to be 10. I'm going to be in at least half of them, probably more. I can't wait to jump into these. Chris, when are these dropping?
We're dropping the first 2 tonight. So tonight we are dropping the first 2. We're filling leagues throughout the off season, but they will not draft until August.
Yeah. So these will be 10 leagues that will keep open. They'll run alongside our best ball season. And then closer to the season, they will draft. It'll be the first 5 and then the second 5 a week later, right? So they're spaced out a little bit.
I want to give a shout out to Ethan and you, by the way. Us 3 put together this game, and it was amazing how we got from the start to where we are now.
Yeah, it was nice. That was a nice process. And right back at you, Chris. Thank you. It's nice to work with you and bounce ideas off of you and get genuine feedback about what you're giving out and then what you receive. And then we kind of just molded it. So this is a product of the 3 of us. I cross my heart. I'm not going to say it was my idea and leave you hanging or nothing like that, So those drop tonight. As soon as we're done with this show, we're going to get those rolling in the Ballsville Hub. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Moving on. Mini leagues. We are actually here with three of our managers. We just heard from Chris. I'm going to kick it over to Nick and Sarah. You guys start running these leagues. Tell us how your experience has been as managers and what it's why these players come in.
Yeah. I wanted to start by saying that me and Zoobs did them last year, and this year is so different and so insane. And it's so like we brought Nick in and we were like, it's super easy. It's gonna be a breeze, no problem. And then we get in there and we're like, oh my gosh, it's going so fast. Oh my God, we're like opening like 10 leagues a day. So no, it's pretty wild. It's pretty awesome. I just gotta say the mini leagues are filling faster than ever. We clearly have more gamers, more DJs than ever.
You're welcome.
Going in. You know, and I mean, to be clear, like when we lost a few people, like before the last season started, we didn't know what was going to happen. And clearly Ballsville stands on its own because we have more people, we have faster filling leagues. These are filling so fast that we had to create more divisions, right? So I think last year was just 4 or 5 divisions, and now we've got a 6th one that we're open and that we're like filling right now. We're likely going to have a 7th, maybe an 8th. We're just keep filling them so fast. Like, why not? You know? So Nick, how was your first year doing, managing these mini leagues been for you?
Yeah, so it's actually been a lot of fun. I've kind of taken a seat back from Division 400 onward. But yeah, it was just so many people coming in at once. Super easy to verify on League Safe. If you haven't been playing and you do pay, please post what your League Safe name is. If you do pay and you haven't paid up for any leagues before, but they're super fun, and I think the entice is that they're cheap buy-ins, and I mean essentially you can just draft and you don't even have to look at it again. I know I like to see all my leagues every week, but that's the true degenerate way. It's like buying a lottery ticket. You buy it and hope for the best.
It's so true. And like when we do the big game, sorry, I'll be done in 10 seconds. When we do the big game, it's the NFL draft. So I can't even imagine how crazy that's going to be because there's a lot of people that take a break here. Right? They're not even drafting right now, and they're going to come in after the NFL draft looking for drafts, and then we're going to have all the mini game players plus all the people that have joined in and trying to. I mean, I have a feeling it's going to be even crazier when the big game drops.
Yeah. And we have 96 of those leagues that are already prepped. We only came into the mini leagues with 40 leagues prepped, and we're up to we're almost to 60 that are full already, right?
Yeah, we're in real remarkable. 7, I think, right now.
By the way, that picture in the middle is Alex on his workout days.
I just want to respond to Chief's Life in the chat. He says,
"Yeah, that's where I was going."
He wants to do something with Pirate, and I have a teaser. One of our games will be introducing Pirate into the format.
Oh,
so get ready for that.
Interesting, because you said top 5, so a lot of people are calling it the top 5, but for some people, that 5th person is no longer Mekhi Lemon; it's Jadarian Price because of the landing spot. So, Zoobs, do you think it's the top 6? Would you include Lemon, or would you include Price in the top 5?
Man, I'm even lower on it than that. I think it's top 4. I mean, I do not really believe in Price. I know the landing spot's good and everything, but you know, I'm just kind of down on this whole class this year.
So, what do you think of the draft? Do you think people made a lot of mistakes out there?
Oh my gosh. Want to talk about your 49ers for a minute?
I do. So if you guys were with us last week, we had a really a cool little segment that we came back to. Actually, I'll just bring it up real quick. I'm gonna have to put you guys back on here. All right, so here we go. This is our Why You Mad? Now, I was mad because San Francisco does the same thing all the time. They get cute, whether it's a bad trade for Trey Lance or whether it's these whack picks like Jordan James or Garendo, Ricky Pearsall, who we don't know, could be a bust. Drafting Jake Moody in the 3rd round, Ronnie Bell in the 5th, who cost them a Super Bowl when he allowed the Chiefs to get back into that game after he muffed a punt. flashbacks to Ted Ginn Jr., right? Don't forget Tyrion Davis Price, Trey Sermon, and of course the ringleader of all of those horrible picks, Trey Lance. I'm so fed up with these 49ers, whether it's the bad picks. You guys have the coaching staff, you have everything you need. You just can't make a trade and you can't make a pick, and it's just so evident. It's really annoying.
It's crazy because every year they're in the playoffs. I mean, they've been to a Super Bowl within the last 5 years. So it's just apparently it works for them, but man, after draft day, you're just looking at what they do and you're like, what? Who's in charge there? Who's making these decisions? I mean, yeah, it's wild stuff.
So not on the board tonight is Stribling and Black. Chris, what do you think about those picks? I mean, they just shocked everybody. They had Denzel Boston fall to him and then go right after they picked Stribling. Do you agree with the pick of Stribling, or would you prefer they just stick to everybody else's board there?
No, I mean, I mean these GMs and the scouts and all that are supposed to do their due diligence, so they must have seen something that they liked. I don't know, but besides like the top eight guys that went where they were supposed to in the draft, like everything got flipped on its head, and yeah, I'm just confused. So for me, we get into the second round and you're taking second round picks, third round picks, fourth round picks. You're just basically scrolling through the list and just hitting somebody because you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, Stribling is going to be one of those players that I'm going to be watching so close all year long. But let's get into it. All right, this is going to be our Ballsville player stock market. We're going to talk about these players and whether they rose, fell, or stayed the same based off of their landing spot. So Jordan Tyson goes to the New Orleans Saints. Zoobs, let's go to you. Do you think this elevates, depreciates, or just keeps his value the same?
I think he's slightly elevated here. The Saints were kind of firing on all cylinders at the end of the season last year. I mean, Tyler Shuck looked like a decent quarterback. I'm not going to say like a top 12 or maybe not even a top like 15, but I mean, he was getting the ball out and he was getting the job done. You got Chris Olave there, who's one concussion away from being out of the league. So they needed some help, at a second wide receiver spot. I really like Jordan Tyson. He was my wide receiver one in this class, honestly. I had him over Tate and I had him over Lemon. So, if Shuck can just continue to get the ball out, this offense continues to fire on all cylinders like it was last year, I think his stock's rising a little bit.
What about you, Chris? Do you think he can be the wide receiver one there over Olave, and where do you see his stock?
I think Olave is the wide receiver one as long as he's healthy. Tyson's a good two, and I think this pick probably elevates Shuck a little bit. I would put Shuck he's going way too late as far as quarterbacks drafted. He should be right around the 15 quarterback off the board, and he's going into the 20s. So, Shuck up. Tyson's in a good spot. This was one of the few that I thought landed well.
Yep. Agreed.
All right, so stock up, it sounds like, for Shuck and for Tyson. Maybe not so sharply for Tyson because he was already kind of being elevated there in that position. For me, I think that just because of the outlook that people had on him already, it kind of stays the same. He didn't exactly go to a place where he's guaranteed to be the wide receiver one, but it's a upward trending team. They're doing a lot of things the right way, and suddenly they have themselves some weapons, and we'll see if Kamara stays there. I mean, if they come out with I guess his name, he wants to be called Achan too or something.
Travis Achan, yep.
Yeah, so if they have him and Kamara sticks around, I mean, that's a 1-2 punch at running back. Devin Neal as a 3, and then you got a couple receivers and an upward trending. And they picked up Delp in the draft too, he was a tight end that was on some people's boards. Could be a value there. Juwan Johnson. You're going to transition out of the NFL news and rumors section We have a lot to get into, a lot to reveal. We're going to talk about the Gauntlet game. We're all really excited about this game. We think you're going to love it. This is going to be a $20 game, $20 buy-ins for this year because we want it to be affordable for everybody to get their feet in the door. So you can try it out, see if you like it, see if it's for you, and then next year we'll come together and debate on if we want to up that for bigger prizes. Right now, I think the max upside is like $2,400, but there's like a $770 minimum that somebody will win just by keeping their money without any of the wagering at the end and stacking payments up to the championship. So the leagues, there will be 12 leagues, 14 people per. The leagues pay out $210. The game itself is going to have a championship bonus of $600 for the overall champion in week 17 when league winners face off. So the game for Ballsville collects $240. That cash is used for various things. We do have the StreamYard, which we're currently on. That bill is coming up next month. And this month we have to pay our Discord. So those receipts will enter the hub and the Discord. You guys will be able to see where that money's going, what account it's coming from. All that stuff is on the open, transparent as always. But out of that $240 that this game will earn us, we're going to take 20 of that and we're going to roll it right back into the player pool for you guys. And I see you, the cat's out of the bag, the banner's up. The keyword tonight is Gauntlet, and we are not giving away a big game entry tonight. We are going to give away 2 entries to the Highlander game coming up, and we're giving away 1 entry to the Gauntlet game, and that game is going to open as soon as this show ends with League Number 1, Zeus, and there's already people there waiting for you. So if you're in the chat, go ahead and enter the word Gauntlet, and then stay tuned at the end of the show when we draw and see who gets a free one. So that's going to be our draft process. Now, the game itself is going to be pretty cool. You're going to have 4 trials. All right. We're going to start with the first 5 weeks. Is going to be a simple redraft format. Very familiar. The only difference is at the end of 2 weeks, or at the end of 5 weeks, we're going to have 2 teams on the bottom of standings get chopped. Now, chopped means that you're going to be eliminated from the game, and your entire roster is going to be dumped to waivers. Waivers will clear Wednesday afternoons. Tuesday will be for chopping and for you guys to make your claims. And you got to watch how you spend that fab because that's not going to be the first set of chops. There's going to be a total of 8 teams chopped during the first 14 weeks of this game. So 5 weeks of redraft, bottom 2 get chopped at the end of that trial. After that, we're going to go 5 weeks into Pirate. Now, Pirate might sound intimidating if you haven't played it before. What we're doing is a very soft transition into Pirate, something that we flirted with last year in our brass balls. Todd, have you done Pirate before other than our brass balls? Is this a format you've ever tried?
No, that was the first time I've ever been any introduction to it.
And what'd you think of that?
It was interesting. I kind of liked it.
Kind of.
Right on. So the way, Joey, well, tell us what you thought of it.
I had so much fun with that format. I just, the pillaging aspect always had me just intrigued. I know like Gauntlet or Guillotine is kind of like the same kind of feel, but just kind of plugging a player or the fab was unique because I didn't have to spend the fab in order to, with everyone else in the league when it came to like the guy dropping. So it was like you literally have a piece and you're looking at that piece when you win, or like when the Monday Night Football is wrapping up, you're like, okay, who am I targeting right now, or what am I going to pillage here? So it was a cool format. I love that element. So bring that aspect to this game would be insane.
So this game is going to involve so much strategy. And I'm glad you brought up the way that the Pirate's going to work because we're going to give you 2 options. All right. So essentially in week 6 through week 10, if you win your matchup, your head-to-head matchup, and after redraft, there's going to be 2 eliminated teams. So those schedules will be adjusted so that those blank teams face each other. Whoever's facing the eliminated team. So if you win your matchup, you're going to be able to take any player from your starting lineup. Now that's important because there's strategy there. If you're going to win your week and it's Monday Night Football, you can take somebody out of your starting lineup, put a scrub there, and they are eligible. You can take anybody from your starting lineup and you can choose to plunder and take a player of the same skill position from anywhere on their roster. So they cannot hide a player. They cannot lock a player by not playing them. We're not doing any of that skull and crossbones, preventative stuff. You can take any player of the same skill position from their roster to boost your roster. Or you're going to get mixed up here because that's called a plunder. All right? It's stealing an asset. Or you can pilfer. And pilfer is stealing treasure. You're stealing their precious fab. You can take 1/4 of the remaining fab. So if somebody's hoarding, you're going to start off with, what do we decide, 300? Right? So
250.
250. Yeah, thank you. So 250 out of that, you can take 1/4 of the fab right off the bat and start stacking your fab. But then if you're boosted, the next week you lose. Now that 1/4 of your fab is a larger amount, and you can lose that too. So tons of strategy involved. You're going to need the fab because after week 10, after the final week of Pirate here, we're going to have the bottom 2 teams get chopped again. All right, so by now we've had 4 teams chopped. Nick, we'll go to you. After week 10, we're going to be down from 14 to 10 teams in this league. Pirate format, you're going to be able to boost your team. Hopefully you go on a win streak. What do you think about this format, and do you see any kind of strategy that you're already going to adopt based off of the way this game works?
I really like the format. I think the strategy, I think I'll just kind of adapt to how the rest of the league's going. I don't want to be too bullish, and I also don't want to hold my cards too tightly. But yeah, I mean, it depends on all the leagues. But I like in this year, I like the no fab trading. It makes things a little bit more interesting this year, and a little bit more risk involved.
Good point, guys. When you enter these leagues, you have to read the intro. That's going to have all the details that we miss when we're just talking about it. But Nick mentioned it. There's not going to be any fab trading. There's not going to be any trading during the draft. And trades themselves are going to be heavily monitored. They are throughout the games, but in this game in particular, it's going to be real easy to try to stack, a roster without building it through the game's format. So we will be scrutinizing trades. It has to have a balance within the 30 to 70% range. If you can't show like an online popular calculator that has it within that range, that trade is going to be eligible for reversal without a league vote if it doesn't fit that parameter. Chris, this is a change from our format last year. Do you think that this is something that was necessary to mitigate how fab was being moved?
Yeah, fab trading kind of it went both ways. If you collected fab, it helped you and it hurt you at the same time. If you use your fab to get players, it more than likely helped you, but it also did hurt you. So just get rid of it completely, make everybody on equal playing fields, and let's have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on. So after 10 weeks, we're going to have 4 teams cut after the Pirate phase. And trust me, if you guys haven't done Pirate, this is going to be a real nice introduction to it. And it's a lot of fun. You're going to really dig it once you're in the trenches. Adds a lot of strategy. So after week 10, we're going to move on to 4 weeks of the guillotine trial. The guillotine is going to switch us from head-to-head format into max points weekly. So your weekly points are going to determine who gets chopped for the next 4 weeks. The bottom team in points per week is going to get chopped. Their whole roster gets dumped to waivers. They are eliminated from the game. Matchups no longer matter. Standings don't have any influence on the game. It's just going to be straight guillotine. After that 4-week period, we're going to be whittled down to 6 teams, and we're going to enter the playoff format, which is going to be something we're calling survival playoffs. This is going to eliminate this bracket that you know and love from all of your standard games, especially redraft. No more bracket. Joey, you made a good point in our managers group. You said that last year you had these teams that were just built, and you lost because your opponent was the highest scorer of the week and you were the second highest scorer. Now we changed that so that week 1 of the playoffs, out of 6 teams, 3 of them are going to get chopped, and it's based off of the lowest score. How does this format suit you? Do you think that's an upgrade?
It wasn't just me. It was plenty of people that I've seen that happen to in the bracket. I don't want to say like it was just me. No, it was so many people. Like I would look at the the results of the week, and I'm looking at like, oh, how did he lose? And then I was probably one of the ones that had a lower scoring matchup, but I won. but I probably should have been chopped, because I had one of the lower scoring of the week. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of goes both ways, of course. But
both ways.
So I just feel like in best ball, it's really best served to be a collective. And like if you're just not the best scorer of the week or bottom two, then you're chopped, and then the better teams play, and then you really have just the overall top scoring teams play off in the final rounds there. So I think it's a greater element, something we're all used to for best ball players, and I think that's kind of how it should be. We'll see the feedback.
So, I find that this is going to be something that's going to kind of take a little bit of the luck factor out of the playoff weeks. The top 3 scorers are going to move on after week 15. And then in week 16, we're going to see the bottom 2 teams drop off again. We're going to be left with one league winner after week 16. Todd, you've been in these games for a long time. You know how we operate with the league winners facing off in week 17. Tell us what you think about this kind of format where we're getting away from the playoff brackets and just kind of advancing the highest scorer teams through this best ball element of the playoffs.
I definitely like it this way. I know last year, especially I had a few matchups, 1 point or less than a point decided matchups either way, when both teams could have been advancing. So it's definitely going to alleviate some of that and take it down to the best teams are actually moving on to the championship, which is probably a much better way to do this.
Chris, you have anything to add to that, this playoff format?
No, after reading it the first time and getting through the whole thing, how it would play out, I mean, it works perfectly, in my opinion.
Guys, I'm excited about this. I like the fact that after week 16, we were going to have our league winners. Those league winners are going to win $150. The way that the championship week is going to work, it's going to be Ballsville style. If you're one of our familiars, it's going to seem very familiar to you. But if you're a newcomer, essentially what we're going to do is the league winner wins $150. All right. Well, let's rewind. After week 15, if you make the top 3, you're going to win your $20 dues back. So 3 teams out of 14 are going to play for free. That stays with you. That is not going to be part of the game. You will be cashed out $20. But if you are the league winner after week 16, you get the $150. That's going to be represented by 3 coins of $50 each. Now, what we do here at Ballsville is we create 3 pots. The main pot is going to be for everybody that wagers $50 and up. So all you have to do is wager a third of your league winnings if you're one of the 12 league winners, and you're going to be eligible for not only what's in that main pot, but the $600 bonus. That's where that's going to sit. Now, if you feel great about your team and you want to go all in, you can wager all $150. If you do that, it's going to place one of those coins into the main pot, the first side pot, and side pot 2. Now, if you wager 100 and you're only in the main pot and side pot 1, you cannot win side pot 3. That's exclusively for the people that wagered 150. All right, so you have to be in the pot to win it. And there's people, that like to go all in. Joey, you're one of them. Balls to the wall, not afraid to push your chips in. That's kind of why you're the Gauntlet champion. But this practice, if we have everybody in all 12 leagues wager 150, plus the $600 bonus, that's how we get to our max payout upside. As that total comes down, your odds get better. That's how we play the game.
Who's that player?
All right, guys, I prepared a game for us. I did a lot of this work last week. We're going to go ahead and just give you a couple clues about players, and the people on the panel here and you guys in chat can jump in once you know the player. We'll just jump right into it. All right, this first player, kind of a giveaway. It's going to get a little harder here. This year 5 wide receiver restructured his contract with his new AFC West team.
It's simple. I know who it is.
Go just shout it out.
Waddle.
Jalen Waddle. First clue. Bubba, can you plug me in?
I honestly thought that was a woman in a jersey in a football uniform.
Yeah, that's the Waddle, man. You can
with
tell.
the little skirt. Yeah,
I honestly couldn't tell.
That's hilarious. Jalen Waddle was the answer. 1 point for Zubikis. Hopefully someone's keeping track.
Yeah,
what's up? All right, cool. What's up in the chat, guys? We have Zach, Todd, Nick, Cyborg, Craig. You guys welcome in. We're playing a little game here. This player finished as RB18 in 2025, despite being the RB1 in week 5 and the RB2 in week 6 and 9.
Derrick Henry? Ashton Genty.
Negative. Okay, anybody? No, going forward. Oh, I just did that. Well, it's Rico Dowdle. Yeah.
I wouldn't have got that.
This player broke 1,000 yards in Dallas despite getting only 70% of the snaps 5 times. Only 5 games with 70% of the snaps. So, yeah, Rico Dowdle, no point. I gave that one away.
Man, I wouldn't have guessed that in a million years.
I wouldn't have either.
So the clues, there's 3 clues. The third clue is progressively easier to guess the player. But the second category is going to be a little bit difficult, and you'll see why once the category is revealed. So you're going to get a point for guessing the player right, and then you're going to get an additional 2 points if you can guess the category, which is what all these players have in common. So far we have Waddle, we have Rico Dowdle. Player number 3. This wide receiver was drafted 24th overall in 2018, going to the NFC South. NFC South. Okay.
Oh my God.
Chris Godwin?
London.
Nope. Okay, this player finished as the wide receiver 6 in 2023, catching passes from Tyler Bagent and Justin Fields.
DJ Moore?
DJ Moore, is that Zoobs?
Wah.
That's 2 points for Zoobs. All right, guys, you got to catch up. Here we go. This player was a 5th-round pick coming out of Cincinnati in 2022. That's not going to help you much. He was the RB16 his sophomore year after the starter for his team suffered a season-ending knee injury in week 2. The starter for his team, an RB16 his sophomore year. Okay. So he was drafted in 22, so starting RB that got injured in 23 gave this guy the opportunity.
Isaiah Pacheco?
No, but that's a great guess.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Any other guesses? All right, number 3. Despite producing on the field with the opportunity, his opportunity died down, and eventually he would get buried in 2025 when this AFC North team would draft 2 rookies in front of him.
Chubb.
Is it Samaje Perine or am I?
No, that was a great guess, Chris.
Jerome Ford?
Jerome Ford. Zoobs get it. Oh, man. Yeah, he was an RB16 his sophomore year, and then, I mean.
Really? I would.
Oh, I got the team right. I just didn't get the player right.
Yeah. I knew it was the Browns. I was like, it can't. In my head, I was like, it can't be Jerome Ford. There's no freaking way.
Chubb was the player that got injured. He was part of the clue. So you were real close, man, sniffing it out. So that's the 3rd point for Zoos, man. We're looking at 3-0 here, guys.
Yeah.
Right. Next player. The stance is a clue. This player was selected 7th overall to the NFC South in 2014.
Man. Mike Evans?
Mike Evans.
Golly. I was thinking him, but
All right, so that's 4-0, guys. That's the end of the first category. So the question is, what's that category? What do these players all have in common?
They've all switched teams this year.
Bro, all players have switched teams, almost verbatim. That is 6 points for Zubicus. Who invited this guy?
Y'all must have went over it before I got here.
Oh man, no, this has been this is just to my knowledge. Zoobs is on fire. All right, but for now, let's get into a little fantasy court.
Ballsville presents Fantasy Court. A player will be on trial. 2 sides will debate. Jeff Bot Rule. Court is in session.
Oh my gosh, that was great.
All right, guys. So I'm taking the role of the bailiff bot. He is new. If you're with us last week, we have the judge up top. That's going to be Judge Sarah. We have so we changed it up a little bit. The defendant is going to be the good bot, and that's going to be Nick, and they're going to swap sides. So Nick at the defendant, and the prosecutor, the bad bot, is going to be Chris to start off. The first player up for trial is going to be one David Montgomery, going at an ADP of 710 in a 10-man league. David Montgomery, court is in session.
Your Honor, David Montgomery is 29 years old. He's regressed over the last 3 seasons. Yes, it was Jahmyr Gibbs' breakout that cast him aside, but maybe it was Dan Campbell noticing that the dog was fading. That could explain the loss of touches. And speaking on touches, Woody Marks, in that same offense that he's moving to this season, finished as RB29 with 45 more touches, while Montgomery finished 27 with 45 less touches. But now Montgomery is going to that same offensive line, which just so happens to rank 32nd in the league by Fantasy Pros. I rest my case.
Your Honor, last year he got a career low of 158 rush attempts and 29 targets in 17 games. Despite that, he still delivered his RB27 return with 167 points. 2025 was his first year outside of an RB2 finish. The first five years before that, he was the RB18, 13, 23, 20, and 4. Now he lands as the lead back in Texas with no one behind him besides some NPCs named Woody, Jahar, and British. Yeah, British Brooks, look it up. Nobody's taking the rock from Monty this year. With an RB23 price tag at the 7.10, he's being drafted at his floor.
Has your case been rested?
Yes.
Thank you, bailiff. All right. Real quick question for anyone that knows this. Does anyone know what Woody Marks's ADP is in comparison?
I don't have that offhand, Your Honor.
On
No
it, Your
worries.
Honor. Give me 1 second.
Thank you. I'm pretty sure he's going later, like much later. Great arguments by both counsels. This is probably a tough one.
15.10.
Thank you. That is a lot farther away than 7.10. And the two things I'm taking into consideration here is actually one that you didn't even mention, Nick, is the fact that he's played so little that he's got, probably more miles on his body.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do agree that Woody Marks had started to break out last year and could be a big threat. At 7:10, I'm feeling like Nick, you're probably right. I think he's probably worth a 7:10 pickup at this point, knowing what we know about Monty. And I know, Chris, that you probably feel that way and had to argue against it. But I think I've heard you say something similar along the lines of his body not really taking much stuff going on. That came out wrong. All right, guys. Monty is good to go at 7:10.
All right. The judge has ruled Montgomery is safe to draft. Next on the docket, we have Jalen Waddle going at the 6:08. Court is in session.
Oh, you got to switch our sides. There you go.
Let's go.
All right, Your Honor. Waddle had to catch rate of 64% last year. He hasn't played a full season since his sophomore year in 2022. His reception totals over the last 3 years are 64, 58, 72. His receiving touchdown totals are 6, 2, and 4. Ladies and gentlemen, does this sound like an alpha to you? Over that game span, Cortland Sutton has had touchdowns over 7, 8, and 10 in Denver already. Denver already has an alpha. Not to mention with wide receivers who switch teams only have a 40% rate of exceeding the previous year. Waddle is going to have to pick up on the playbook, a new quarterback coming back from injury, and his role in an offense that features 3 capable running backs in J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, and the new Jonah Coleman. With a defense like Denver's, how much will Bo Nix be asked to do? Lastly, I'll ask you to consider this opening schedule for the Broncos: Chiefs, Jaguars, Rams, 49ers, Chargers, and Seahawks. You're looking at a difficult schedule to start. I rest my case.
All right.
Your Honor, this is a receiver who was taken 6th overall in 2021. He delivered that year with the wide receiver 13 performance and then followed it up in his sophomore year as wide receiver 8. He joins an emerging star in Bo Nix, who will be forced to air it out more as he heals from a foot injury. He moves to a better team with much better scoring opportunities and a defense to keep the ball in their hands. Jalen Waddle fits the alpha profile, and if he was able to learn from Tyreek Hill, he should be a force and key player in your fantasy season. I rest my case.
Great job, counsel. All right. So though I don't have a ton of Waddle, I do see a lot of upside, and I think you're very right, Chris. He really does fit the team scheme. It's perfect. Bo Nix loves to throw out, and Waddle is fast. And I agree. I do believe Waddle is safe to pick at 608.
The court has decided it is safe to draft Jalen Waddle at the 608. Next on the docket, we have one Travis Etienne, HN, however he wants to be called, who should be on trial for that name alone. Travis Etienne, as you know him. Court is in session.
Your Honor, tonight we pointed out many players who deliver a point per opportunity or more. Etienne has finished the year RB10, sure, but he did it on the back of 312 opportunities for 252 points. That's 0.8 points per opportunity. Alvin Kamara is not gone, and the team added Jordan Tyson. Those are some big names, not to mention Chris Olave. The Saints seem to be trending upward. But what does it mean for Travis, who's being drafted as RB18? I think that's a ceiling, if things break out right. If Kamara stays and takes the receiving downs, we could see a low opportunity, low efficiency year for Travis. Lastly, the winners of the NFC South over the last 4 years have averaged 9 wins. Maybe they will win 6 within the division, but they don't perform outside of that weaker division. The Jags won 13 games last year. Do we think the Saints won 9? Vegas doesn't. They have them at 7.5. I rest my case.
Thank you.
Your Honor, we've already seen stretches where Timu Achan performed as a high-end RB1. When he receives consistent volume and goal line opportunities, he can put up league-winning weeks. We all discount the Urban Meyer year. An injury negated his rookie year, but when he finally got a chance to perform, he finishes the RB3 in 2023. He's said to be a goal line deficient running back, but he scored 13 touchdowns in 2025. He finishes the year after his Week 8 bye with Browns, Packers, Bears, Bengals, Packers, Panthers, and in the fantasy playoffs, he's got to face the Bucks, Arizona, and Atlanta. You cannot get better than that. I rest my case.
Thank you, counsel. This is another tough one. I'm glad that the bailiff has shown me these stats here down below, where it shows me that Javonte Williams and Kyron Williams went right before Etienne, which tells me a lot because that probably means he was somewhere in around like the 10th running back going. He's not going very high. I have to say that I am going to agree with Nick on this one, that he is definitely draftable at this spot here at 509. It seems like the right place.
That's me. Wait, don't draft? I thought you said 2 draft.
Oh, I said 2 drafts. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I agree with Chris. I'm very sorry. Also, I didn't think that I would be agreeing with everyone's spot so far, but come on, let's get one that doesn't deserve to be there.
All right, at the 5'10", he is safe to draft. The first 3 players, ladies and gentlemen, we will note these were pre-selected players from last week. So now we're going to get into a little bit of a more heated argument with players selected by the councils. We're going to start off with one, Sam Darnold. This is a person being drafted at the 8:06. Court is in session.
Your Honor, at this time, watching Sam Darnold as a Seahawks fan, sometimes his decision-making is worrisome, but I'm not sure if that is a negative trait of him or of his offensive line at times. While I think 8.6 is a little high, I think he's a good grab in the 9th or 10th. I'm not dogging my quarterback. I rest my case.
Your Honor, Darnold has finished as the QB9 and QB13 in the past 2 seasons after 6 seasons of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's currently being drafted as the QB21 at 8:04 in Ballsville leagues. He's a league-winning value play. He's the reigning Super Bowl MVP on a team with arguably the best wide receiver in the league. He's only 29, still in his prime, with back-to-back seasons of over 4,000 passing yards. I rest my case.
Your Honor, the court will note that Kenneth Walker was a Super Bowl MVP. We'll have that stricken from the record.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Look, y'all, Chris, I really appreciate you mentioning that he went quarterback 21, because this is a huge difference. 8.06 might seem early in some leagues, but when he's the 21st quarterback going, that seems to be a little bit right in place, right in line for where around you would think he would go. So this is a tough one. Bailiff, I have to ask for a little bit of direction here, because as the 21st quarterback, I feel like this is the perfect time to draft him. As the 806, that's the ADP, feels early, but when it's the 21st, draft him. You know what I mean? So does this count for me? Does this count as a safe draft? Even though I'm going off more of the fact that
you have to
21.
consider that it's super flex too. So 8th round quarterback and super flex is actually late.
That's very true.
Yeah, I agree with that portion of it. I think as far as quarterback security goes, he is one of the bottom dwellers that I feel you can rely on. And in a format like this, Superflex is really highlighted. I'm going to lead towards the draft. I like that.
So Nick, it's like good news and bad news. It's good news because you already know you love Sam, and it's bad news because I'm going to take Chris's side on this one. You should definitely be drafting him at that late in the game.
All right. It seems we've all ruled. Actually, the prosecution as well has ruled in favor of Sam Darnold. So 4-1 in a rare change of heart.
I kept dreaming of a world I thought I'd never see.